Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger Cup. We've moved on to the round of 8, correct?
Yeah, round of
I am
8.
I am
One day.
bracketally challenged.
I believe in you. I believe in you. One
Getting
day.
a little bit better. Round 4, round of 8 right here. The North American side of things. First bands are out. Vicious and Delicious on the left-hand side. That is what V&D stands for. Just a little bit too long to fit. Vicious and Delicious. Previously, Barracuda was on this team. Team has since been resurrected, and it is Heater's brand. So we have them along with. Honestly, I really like off the team. Kabam is one of the more impressive mid
really
laners.
Cool guy too. Good attitude.
Yeah. One of the more impressive mid laners or players in all of Smite, and I very excited to see how Vicious and Delicious and specifically Kabam's career goes in the future. We're going to see a Zhang Kui ban out from Vicious and Delicious. How do you feel about Zhang bans overall, Cret?
He can be hard to deal with. There are when he first came out, there weren't really counters. Like you kind of had Isis, but not really. Now there's Isis, there's Nemesis, there's just Shell in general. You can build a true disengage composition, which is the best way to deal with Zhang, where you wait for him to ult, and everybody just leaves, and then you come back.
Right.
But he is still hard to deal with and annoying. I think it's just one of those things that Vicious and Delicious doesn't like to deal with, because I also don't think it's really like Acceleration's pick. I mean, we watched them earlier today. They didn't pick Sean. They picked other stuff. They did have a Loki, I believe.
And
yeah, but it was
Loki
on a different
again.
player. It was on a different player. They had Odd Tunes on Loki, and they're subbing him out for Collateral.
Important information.
Yeah.
Haven't heard what happened to Odd Tunes. We'll get in touch with the admins and whether or not they have information on that. We will let you guys know for sure.
I actually talked to the team. He's just gone. Not there. Getting the game set up, and they're like, "Where is he?" I don't know. So that sucks. But they found a sub. They're good.
So we'll still see the Loki play, perhaps not on the same player. Acceleration picking Rod, powerful pick as always really has been here in the Challenger Cup and overall Smite in general. Giannis, again, another great pickup. Vicious and Delicious's lineup right now looks disgusting. You have 3 global ultimates, which a lot of high-tier players, professional players included, seem to think that Smite can be boiled down to which team has the most global ultimates. I don't exactly subscribe to that thought process, Cret, but Athena, Giannis, Apollo are powerful in their own right, independent of those global presence ultimates.
I think the really big part of that argument is, when was the last time you saw an SPL game that didn't have a global ultimate in it? Yeah. I haven't actually checked, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't happened. Like, I'm pretty sure every SPL game has had at least one global across all 10 players.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you definitely want a little bit of global presence. It's just fantastic for a number of reasons. Lets you maintain map control, all sorts of things. At the end of the day, Apollo, Giannis, and Athena are just fantastic characters that happen to have a global ultimate. So
yeah,
there is that. Counter bans come out from Acceleration. They're going to ban Freya, which isn't a bad ban against Vicious and Delicious. This is a team that functions well with hyper carries. They just know how to play it safe until they come online. So we won't see that character in this next matchup. Vicious and Delicious taking time to think about their counter ban. Let's take a look across the board. We see Rom, no support just yet, so a good support ban would be expected to come out. But we do see Chalk, so they're hoping that Loki is in the jungle, I suppose.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that's a little interesting because Loki jungle, I feel like, is something that you actually hope for. Like, you're actually like, boy, I really hope they put that Loki in the jungle.
Yeah. Because
we could really take advantage of that. Whereas Loki solo is more likely and honestly kind of better. Nuwa going to be locked in for Acceleration. Agni, Thor hovered on for V&D. So looks like it's going to be again a solo in the hands of Heater and Agni in the middle lane on the hands of Off the Team, aka Kabam.
Which is scary.
It is scary, yeah.
Off the Team has a very, very, very proficient Agni, so that is going to be something scary.
Off the Team playing with a sub as well. They're using Jainin. They're using either Jainin or Eclipse Team. Both Hunter players. One of them's going to have to be playing that jungle
role. If you ask this caster, I would expect to see Jainin. Jainin is a player that So Janin played Once Upon a Time. In the past, decent, nothing really exciting. And then I think it was week 4, Kret, of the Challenger Cup. Janin came out and played. Do you remember what team he played for?
He played for Salt Squad in week
Right.
1.
Okay, it was even earlier than that. Okay, so
Yeah.
so Janin had played, and he was a hunter that nobody really had heard of, and the Uller play was what he was playing was absolutely off the charts.
Really good.
It was, dare I say, SPL level. It was absolutely incredible. Yeah. Nobody really knew who he was. He just kind of came, and he was a last-minute sub. The team needed to substitute. They went into Dolby and they found, hey, this Jaden guy, you want to play in a tournament? And he said, sure. And I think they made it to the finals or close there that week.
They won, yeah.
They won. Not exactly on the back of Jaden, but we saw many 5-0 / lines coming out from him. So going to be exciting.
Looking at what Vicious and Delicious are running today, they do have a sub. Their usual jungler is not here, so they're going to be moving their standard support Wubba into the jungle, moving their standard AD carry Eclipsium onto support, and putting Janin in on AD carry.
Eclipsium, sort of the creator of the team, definitely one of the weaker links, though, as far as like mechanics are concerned.
Sure. So
the choice to put him on support tends to have a little bit more. Support's an interesting position. It tends to have a little bit more wiggle room, but a well-played support can impact your team more so than a well-played other lane sometimes. That said, we're going to see a Sobek on acceleration. Before we get into the match, why don't you talk a little bit about what Sobek can bring to the party?
Sobek's really cool. He's a cool crocodile. So, before Geb, Sobek had the best peel in the game. That changed because Stone Shield is dumb. But
pretty much
the reason Sobek had the best peel in the game is, first of all, he had 2 control abilities, which was rare. Now you have Kumba and Kabrakan. But they're both displacement, and displacement is better for peel than a stun. You can not only stop your opponent from doing stuff, but you stop them from doing stuff and move them away from the person you're trying to protect. So Sobek can be very, very good. He has a lot of mechanical tricks that you can use. So, like, you know, like, he can't pull through creeps, so people are like, yeah, I'll just hide behind my creeps. But a good Sobek player can walk up to you, tail whip you and the creeps, and then pull you out of the air. There's a lot of depth to this character, and because of Geb, you don't see him run because Geb's such a strong counter. I really want to see more Sobek. He's so cool, so dynamic, so interesting, and I can't wait to see what Dr. Elo can do with him. Vicious and Delicious versus Acceleration in the round of 8 of your North American Smite Challenger Cup. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back shortly.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the North American Challenger Cup. We're about halfway through our tournament. This is week 6, so more than halfway through the whole tournament as far as 7 weeks of play, mirroring the SPL that we have going on. Right now, today's tournament, we're in the round of 8, round 4. We're taking a look at Rambozos and Vicious and Delicious in just a couple of seconds. But first, why don't we talk a little bit about what we've seen so far, Kret?
Well, so far, we're currently in the round of 8. We've had the Rambozos eliminating an Australian team who went for a very gutsy and, unfortunately for them, failed level 1 gold tree where Chris Pocket nailed an amazing Hand of the Gods. Rambozos currently playing up against Resist. Apex Predator versus Iceman on the other side of the top side of the brackets. And Iceman is a team that performed very well last week. They have a lot of potential, so this really could be an upset matchup. 4th seed versus 5th seed is always a big deal. Vicious and Delicious versus Acceleration, and 5 Angry Men versus Disney Princesses. Both of these teams are actually sort of members of the same community. The Disney Princesses ran 4 teams in this tournament, 2 of them making it to the round of 8, and if they both win their respective matches, they'll actually face off in the semifinals. So maybe we'll see that, or maybe we'll see Vicious and Delicious versus the re-resurrected 5 Angry Men. They had pain for a week, and then they didn't.
This is like the 3rd iteration of the 5 Angry Men that we've seen thus far. As it stands, folks, seed points are giving out 100 points to the number 1 team, the victor of the tournament. So we've seen a lot of different winners here. Unlike Europe, where Agilitas has just won out for 5 weeks in a row, we haven't seen too many repeat winners, if any at all. Rambozos sit at number 1 with 280 seed points. Vicious and Delicious right on their tail at 240, and that's the matchup we're going to see here. It's going to be very exciting. 5 Angry Men, 154, with Apex Predator sitting down below at 112, and some other teams in the running around there. But we're going to take a look, as we've said, the number 1 and 2 seeds overall, Rambozos versus Vicious and Delicious. They've already made it into lane. We're going to take a look at the game right about now. Let's take a look at the solo lane.
In the solo lane, 2 teams facing off, and Heater seems to have a good position in this lane. Thor heading into the jungle. Only level 2 is Wubba, so he's a little behind. Jelly also sitting at level 2, but nah, it looks like it's just gonna be some safe clear. And the thing about Ra in the solo lane is he just makes this sort of duo phase so safe for his teammate.
Yeah, he definitely makes the duo phase very, very safe. Even with even against the Thor, which can get the double tap and lots of damage, you just can heal it back up. Not a real, honestly, big deal for when you're in the solo lane. However, Wubba is coming around the corner with this Thor. If he gets a good wall, this could be curtains for collateral. Only gets the Berserker Barrage. Doesn't seem to have put a point into that Tectonic Rift. So just a little bit of insignificant damage coming out from our Thor.
In the left-hand lane, Dr. Elo looking for the pluck, not quite going to find Ecliptium. I do want to mention both of these teams are playing with subs. For Acceleration, it's going to be a sub in their solo lane. Collateral is going to be playing instead of Odd Tunes. And for Vicious and Delicious, there's actually a sub slide, by which I mean they needed a sub for jungle, so they moved their support to the jungle, their AD carry to support, and then they put their sub in on AD carry. That's just how it worked out the best, in their opinion. So both these teams playing in subs, not hypothetically at their full strength, but these subs are also known players. They're strong players. Jaden, formerly of Team Salt, who was a very early winner in the Challengers Cup, and Collateral was on the original roster for Acceleration. This is another resurrected roster, similar to 5 Angry Men. Mid-camps will be coming up in about 45 seconds, and that's probably going to be the first fight of the game.
Jelly on this Loki. He is a jungle Loki. Honestly, we've seen a big switch in the meta to a solo lane Loki. This time around, he's going to be in the jungle. Thor in the jungle as well. Ulting down onto the left-hand side. Gets a great Berserker Barrage, but a good dash out by Dr. Elo. Wubba's on his tail, but not quite enough damage to finish that off. It is going to force Dr. Elo out of the lane. Here comes Jelly. Ultimate down, and the first blood goes to Jelly of Rambozos. The jungle Loki, who requires so much initial push to actually get going, has picked up first blood.
In the middle lane, hold on a second, rooted out is Agni in the fog, and with the help of the minion, another kill. Mystics taking down off the team. Very well played with those auto attacks. A lot of people don't realize this or account for it, but Nuwa does have substantially increased attack speed over a typical mage. So when it comes to the auto attack fight, which was sort of half that engagement, they use their abilities and auto attacked each other. Nuwa just won, hands down. She got a root that actually caught out the tail end of Agni's dash. He was rooted, he dashed, he was still rooted. Mystics was able to position and find the kill. Really well played, and that's going to be a really big lead for Acceleration in this early game. Now, it is only 1,000 gold and 1,500 experience, but 4 minutes in, that can very easily turn into something. This is the potential start of a snowball.
Definitely, especially when you counter the fact that 2 mid-camps both went to Rambozos right there, with the jungler dying out for Vicious and Delicious. So Rambozos going to pick up both mid-camps. 2 people on V&D going to head out into the solo lane. We've got Giannis and Thor making his presence known, but not really getting anything out of it. Wubba, usually the support player for this team, so perhaps, I mean, you know Wubba pretty well. Wubba, previously known as Met Yankee, in and out of the competitive scene. How proficient of a jungler is Wubba?
He is just one of those players that has played ranked to the point where I think he can play everything. I've seen him in Soul. I haven't seen him in mid, but I've seen him perform well everywhere else. His Honor is really scary, in my opinion. Now, he also has horrible luck in ranks, like Homie gets 4v5s daily somehow. Just one of those people. But no, he's really proficient in every role, so it makes sense that they'd put him into the jungle. Ecliptium has tried in the past. It didn't really work out for him. Support, though, Ecliptium has done reasonably well with. So, and their sub, Jaden, is a fantastic AD carry, as he proved in his first week with Team Salt.
Yeah, Jaden overperformed above and beyond what anybody really expected to. That week, that team that subbed him in off the cuff, coming out of nowhere, asked him in a somewhat random Dolby chat to go ahead and join the team. They wound up winning almost on his back.
Oh,
Thorald into the middle lane. Mystics gets stunned, but he's going to be somewhat all right despite taking about half his HP down. Off the team here,
nice.
Beads fantastic reactive beads coming out from off the team in reaction to Dr. Elo's push, or pull, rather,
well, that was
not making on the tower.
Everything about that was amazing. I mean, great job surviving coming out from Mystics, not using his ultimate there. That was actually a 90-degree pull combo from Dr. Elo. I need to fangirl really quick. That is not easy. You come in with the tail whip at an angle, it knocks them sort of diagonally from you and allows you to reposition so you can pull on an angle from where you came in. It is not easy. Great beats from off the team. Both players just playing really well. That's really cool, and it's still a win for Dr. Elo. I mean, he gets a 3-minute cooldown beads off of 2 20-second cooldowns. On the left-hand lane, dashing in. Clip team's not gonna find any real pressure onto Famous Hate there. Mid camp's not coming up for another 15 or so seconds, and looks like left is going to go to acceleration.
Yeah, left camps will go to acceleration, so that'll definitely be a good win for them. Going over to the right-hand side, looks like they have the numbers as well. 3 members of acceleration shading over to the right mid camps. Off the team is here. We talked about Kabam in the pregame cast, Cred. We could see a nice steal, but Mystic's going to sense him out thanks to that beautiful ward. He's going to get stunned,
wow,
and damaged on by Loki. Able to get out of there thanks to the dash. More damage coming over from the heater rotation. Dr. Elo in that ultimate. Very, very low. Wubba not able to confirm the kill onto Jelly. Only hit one side of the hammer. Jelly now invisible. Everyone on Vicious and Delicious very, very low. He's going to go ahead and make it out safely, but Mystics in a precarious spot.
Yeah, Famous Hate will find a solo kill on the long lane. Nice taunt, but it's not going to be the kill that needs to happen. Dash forward off the team will find the flame wave, and that is the danger of Agni. So it's going to be a 1-for-1. Wait, maybe more as Jelly comes in. Will find off the team. Now turning on Collateral, gets the kill onto Ecliptium, and that's going to be a 3-for-1 trade. They're going to go for the Gold Fury, and they can get it. Rom's going to be here. Loki's backstab bonus is incredibly powerful against early objectives. You've got a Ra for a heal. Great rotation on the solo lane. This is just the perfect team comp for this potential follow-up. It will reset to Loki, but it's going to go to acceleration fairly easily.
Thor's in the air, looking for something. Lands down, gets the kill immediately onto the Loki. Looking for more is Heater. Gets a good portal, but not enough follow-up as Wubba was still
Apollo
in that Berserker barrage.
Janen.
Apollo. Janen picks up the kill.
Yeah, Janen able to get that kill. Just really found Famous in a bad position. So it's a 2-kill cleanup. 3-5, and overall that engagement is a 3-for-3. But with the Gold Fury acceleration, they've kept that ball rolling. I mean, we mentioned the snowball earlier. Now it's 2,000 gold 4 minutes later. And if they can really get to 3,000 by the time they transition to the mid-game, that could be great. Nice beats from Mystics. Good Aegis as well. Nice explosion, and that should get him out at a heavy cost. He will still have to go back, and he has used all of his actives. Now in the right jungle is Wubba. Rotation coming out through space and time, just barely gonna miss here. Loki coming in will get spotted out on the Berserker barrage. Seeing those damage numbers pop up, it's just gonna be a disengage. Mystic's gonna grab one more wave with the fog and then likely head back to base.
Speed buff pinged out by acceleration themselves. They want to make sure they pick that up without getting invaded on. They are the team ahead, taking a look briefly just above the 9-minute mark. They're leading by almost 2,000 gold, which relatively speaking is a decent lead. Which is important to talk about. 2,000 gold is not a large lead, folks, but relative to the total amount of gold and the time we are in this matchup, it's something worth talking about. Left mid camp's about to spawn.
Yeah, going to be coming up relatively soon, and you know, Nuwa didn't back yet. Now has been able to get a little bit of sustain from that Vamp Shroud, and actually off the team is also sitting at precarious health, so these mid camps will be roughly even. Thor in the solo lane, not in the right spot, so maybe no timers coming out from Vicious and Delicious, because they should be contesting this. Dr. Elo is literally soloing the mid camps without Hog. That's a Sobek. That should not be happening, though I guess he's making good use of his passive.
Athena backed, not able to really
off
contest.
The team could be in trouble here.
Off the team is not going to die for this one, even with the Athena ultimate. Probably not going to go in, but this pressure coming out from acceleration will ensure them the right hand mid camps. Off the team and Ecliptium might be able to make a play here, Cret, but inadvisable as they do have their third member, the jungler here as well, Jelly.
And on the right-hand side, the mid-camps will go down. Jelly helping Dr. Elo this time and get to be able to grab that. Now, can be a little bit of reset across the map. Pretty much all the buffs have been taken, speed coming up for Wubba, but he's there. Doesn't look like he's going to get invaded. So this is a time for people to back, buy their items, get their farm, put red buff on their mid laner for Mystics. And the question is, this is really where Acceleration should be talking about what are they going to do next? Where are they going to go from here? Gold Fury is down, but they want to keep their lead rolling. Left-hand lane, Famous, nice roll. He's going to be able to dodge that Anvil of Dawn, but now he doesn't have it, and he's going to go down.
Wubba winds up getting the last hit on that one, but kill right there. Credit to Athena off the chart. Jelly coming in, trying to get Janen while he's isolated, and Dr. Elo going to look for a pull right here. Janen playing the geometry well, finding the corner, not allowing Sobek to get that straight line direct onto him. So no pull today for the boys in red as Acceleration pressures onto this tower in middle lane. And I want to say, Cret, that is the next move for Acceleration. Just keep playing the game well and play the lanes exceptionally well and push a tower. It's about which one the jungler wants to prioritize. Right now, we've seen a lot of attention paid to the duo lane. Is that where we want to see the pressure? Is that where the first tower is going to go down for Acceleration?
You know, it would be really, really nice for Acceleration to get that lead on their Rom over Apollo. The big thing about this matchup is Rom has everything he needs to sort of deal with Apollo in the laning phase, is a better boxer by a slight amount, does have some global presence, etc. Nice taunt in the middle, big damage coming out, but the second bomb's not going to hit, and no Flame Wave. Now dashing away is Dr. Elo. That wall's going to be good. We'll find the double tap with the spin. That's a dead Crocodile. Defender Olympus coming in. Here's Janen trying to look for more. Doesn't find the So Beautiful, but that Aegis could be. It is looking like Mystics gets out just barely, but Wubba comes back in. The snipe from Collateral not quite going to connect.
His ult
big damage coming out. And now Famous Hate is looking for off the team who Aegis' mid-dash. I didn't even know you could do that. Now Famous up in the air will look for a heater, and last shot not going to connect on the right-hand side. Wubba was just barely getting out. In the middle lane, Famous staying alive. Jelly very low. Everyone is low from this except for Janen, and I don't think he's going to be soloing anything right now.
A couple of things I really want to highlight in that last engagement, Cret. I love the presence of mind coming out from our Thor player Wubba today. He gets the Athena ult on him, kills an enemy without the use of the Athena ult, immediately makes a 45-degree turn to head towards the middle laner Mystics to get that Athena damage onto her. They get it, and they wind up getting the kill due to some heads-up play from Wubba again. And then one more play coming out from the Rom player, Janen, if I'm not mistaken, Famous Hate goes into the air, hits the Giannis, reads the portal through the mid-camp wall, and shoots him on the opposite end of the wall. Fantastic play coming out. Didn't exactly get the kill, Famous Hate, but just knowledge of the geometry, knowledge of the players' tendencies, and where the characters can function coming out from multiple players in that engagement. What a fight to watch.
Yeah, really well done. So now the question is, where is Acceleration going to try and put their gold? And I think the biggest advantage is really in this solo lane. You've got 427 gold per minute coming out on Collateral, and his counterpart Heater is sitting at 375. So that extra 50 could amount to a lot, and having a Fed Raw is something you have to leverage very carefully. Now, granted, Heater is making up for this by virtue of his item build. Do more with Doom Orb, as you always say. He's building a super cheap, super efficient item, hasn't really been punished for it yet. So while he is behind in GPM, so I guess he is losing lane slightly, he is ahead in terms of items because his items are better. Nice Fist of Gods coming out from Wubba. Now Jelly could be in trouble, but still hasn't used his ultimate and has all the options he needs to just walk away, get out scot-free. Basically, my question is Acceleration going to be able to leverage their Fed Raw?
I mean, that is a large question and not one easily answered, Cret. You know, taking a look at that middle lane matchup you were talking about, or the solo lane matchup rather, Heater sitting at 220 magical damage with that Doom Orb, and taking a look across at his competition, 159 magical power on the Raw, so might be behind in gold, but not behind in power. Well, two ultimates come up. Famous Hate nails the kill on the other side of the map onto Janen, along with the help of that new Raw. The tower dive going deep. Jelly not able to secure the kill, but Dr. Elo still tanking this tower, and eventually will go down to the hand of Jelly, the jungle Loki. Wubba's here trying to play some cleanup. Berserker Barrage is out onto two
Nice
enemies,
interrupt.
but interrupted with the pull. Fantastic play coming out from Dr. Elo, and a good mind play coming out from Wubba to juke out the thought process there and turn around 180 hammer out. Great mental juke coming out from the jungler on Vicious and Delicious. However, that will open the door for Acceleration to take a look at the Gold Fury off the
They're
teams
gonna
here.
have to reset this. He's got 2 meteors. That should be enough. Mystics takes the brunt of the... Oh my god, through space and time just eliminates Jelly. That was a really, really good prediction coming out. Mystic's now in trouble. Will fall as well. And
Complete
Peter
turnaround.
just got the Gold Fury for his team. I mean, essentially, Dr. Elo can hypothetically steal his, but he doesn't have his ultimate. Athena is there, so it's a real long shot. And with Wubba zoning, Dr. Elo has to back away. Gold Fury given up. Gold lead not entirely turned around, but is going to be down to 1,000. Famous Hate can't really make anything happen, and actually is probably going to die here. Really mysterious decision. He wants off the team, but is he out of Astro Hours? He's going to be dashing away, trying to get damage off through the team, but eliminated. And
Just too many members of the enemy
I guess
team
he
right
saw
there.
red there. I'm not really sure why he went in.
Well, kills are now tied, folks. 16.5 minutes into this matchup. 9-9 read the kills. All structures do remain up. 1 Gold Fury per each team, actually. Gold difference just barely the way of Acceleration, but for all intents and purposes, we're looking at a directly tied game as we approach the 17-minute mark here in our round of 8 North American Challenger Cup.
And off of that kill, it's going to be rank 3 beads on Famous Hate. So, you know, I do want to talk about a change that sort of, I feel like, was glossed over in the last patch just because Sobek isn't super popular. Actually, gank onto Wubba will be able to get up in the air, but not quite the Vanish DOT. Gonna take him down just in time, and that's the huge single target damage coming out from, well, Loki and also Ra, who's able to do a lot when he's so far ahead. That should also result in mid-tower. It's 500 gold. Doesn't seem like a lot, but the pressure from taking this tower down is incredibly substantial. It just opens up the center of the map, makes it a lot less safe for Vicious and Delicious, and now with the help of those minions, well, they're not really going to be able to push the tower because there's too many members of VD. So as I was saying, Sobek got a buff in that his passive is now applied from his abilities as well. And that means that he can keep that extra 15 protections rolling throughout a team fight. Doesn't seem like a lot, but 15 can really make a huge difference.
Every little bit counts when you're playing at a high level, and Vicious and Delicious and Acceleration are 2 very high-tier teams. Vicious and Delicious a little more so proven than Acceleration, but the players on Acceleration have really done a lot to show us that they are bringing the meat and potatoes. And right now, as we speak, Acceleration, Famous Hate just going to take this left-hand tower down very quickly, not so quietly, as Janen is here to box him out.
Famous.
About a full wave here for both people, but Janen taking a lot of damage. Here comes 3 members if you count the Athena. Athena ult is relinquished. No damage there, but he will. Famous Hate will land into the shield wall, and the So Beautiful taunted in with the barrage, but a beautiful beads coming out from the Hunter. Not quite going to hit with that Janus ultimate, and he's safe.
No, he's not.
Now
Apollo.
the one surrounded, and
Apollo
he's in trouble.
Yeah, Apollo getting out, and now with Dr. Elo in the front line, that's the power of, like, Ramo, right? You can buy so much time. He was up in the air for 6 seconds. It was enough for Dr. Elo to get close enough and able to back away. Now with Ra's healing here, everyone's able to sustain up. Thor's in the area. This is temporarily a 4v4 as both Rom and Apollo are running back from their base. Thor lurking. Does have his ultimate online, but he's gonna actually head over to mid lane, and split push will be spotted out on minions, and it looks like Famous Hate will be able to cover this. So split push not gonna really work out for him. No tower taken down. Jelly lurking in the jungle, not gonna go anything just yet. Acceleration, their lead is still there. It's 2,000, but going into the late game at around 20 minutes is when you make your transition. It's not really a big lead at all. It's just...
As we see, I mean, we're seeing these teams jockey over mid camps at the moment. We actually might see a fight here if Dr. Elo decides to get feisty, but a good hit coming out from Unstable Vortex is going to go ahead and deter him, send him back. Talk a little bit about that transition, Craig.
So,
what mindset changes as you get past the 20-minute mark?
You want to look at where your lead is, and looking at their GPM, the lead is going to be on the mid laner, looking at about 30 gold per minute, which is going to be fairly
invisible
substantial at this point. Jelly's going to look for heater, but portal right out, and Giannis is so good at escaping.
Giannis.
And now
Dunk
Thor
down
coming
from the
down,
floor.
but he's not doing that much damage. Turned on really quick. Will find a kill on a Jelly with the help of that through space and time, absolutely annihilating. But Wubba getting very, very low. Not quite taken down just yet, as Thor is so maneuverable. Ecliptium in the mix. Now, on the left-hand side, Rom up in the air. Nuwa rather low, looking for off the team, but not going to find it. Agni will get sniped by this Shining Metal, but not taken down. That's the disengage. The other goal difference is between Loki and Thor. Or, sorry, not Loki and Thor. Yeah, it's really just the mid laners and the Hunters right now.
That'll mean much as we go in, because the mid laners tend to run the with the high damage, the high AoE damage. We have an Agni and a Nuwa. Both characters that have a lot of burst. Agni a little more control than Nuwa, frankly, but a well-played Nuwa can control just as efficiently. That said, the mechanics we just saw, Shining Metal before the minion release, might not exactly be on point, but the rest of this match we've seen some good stuff coming out from Nuwa, so might have just been a panic hit thinking that Shining Metal was able to really hit that. We've seen 3 towers go down, Vicious and Delicious, just 3 towers to their name, all tier 2s, all tier 1s have been wiped off the board for the blue team. Acceleration still owners of all structures.
And what it comes down to in terms of the goal difference is it's really just an active. It's sprint 3 on Apollo. That's the difference between these two Hunters. That's how close this game is. And when you look at the mid lane, neither mid laner is honestly performing that well. They both have roughly the same KDR, but you've got a double stack build coming out from Nuwa, which means she's able to transition in the late game very nicely and look for those absurd levels of magic power. We're gonna see Mystics pushing 800 in about 15 minutes. And that's really scary. Yeah, because that's going to be, it's like 40% into the new ultimate, I think. That's going to hit for an extra 300. So, what, like 600 damage to every player on Vicious and Delicious? Every team fight, that's 3,000 player damage by pressing 4. That can mean a lot.
Gold Fury has been pinged out. Acceleration wasn't going for it. They looked like they de-warded or just took care of some new minions, but both teams completely committed to this left side of the map. Really no one in that solo lane. Mid laner has returned for Vicious and Delicious. He's going to go head back to base, though, so we just have 10 members of this match in the left side of the jungle, making it look like they want to make a play for Gold Fury, but he who moves first will be countered on. I love this play that Mystics has been doing. He's done it twice so far. Sends the minions at the Gold Fury, so that when you look at Gold Fury, it seems like it's attacking, because it is. It's just not attacking a player that you wouldn't be able to see anyway. So it can deke out Vicious and Delicious. Unsuccessful, but fantastic thought process.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just trying to make something happen, and this is really close. So it's sort of who can make the first move, who can find a small advantage in those team fights and really turn it around and initiate properly. So far, Wubba, I think a lot of this game hinges on him, and his Anvil of Dawns have by and large been on point. He's landing the right spot, and for someone who is subbing into the jungle role and subbing for Skeledon, who we have seen go absolutely berserk on Thor, could be really good. Famous 8 perhaps getting caught out again. Will go up in the air, but he's buying time, not for his survival, but for a Gold Fury, which is now sitting at around 60%. Giannis and Thor coming down. They're going to try and engage on this, but their support is not quite there, and the Gold Fury will reset nonetheless. Rom has survived and is sitting high up on health. Agni uses his stun, and that's going to be down. Dr. Elo taking some damage. The advantage in an extended fight will go to Collateral and his team because of the healing, and Apollo's actually recalling in the middle lane. This Gold Fury should go to acceleration, unless Ecliptium can pull something off. Dash in, might get pulled off. Hog is too early. Have to go for it when you're the stealer. Acceleration, able to secure that one easy. Now Wubba eliminated after getting a kill. Off the team, getting turned on, but eliminates Jelly really quick. Now in the Aegis, but is it the Zapman Aegis? Yes, it is. Apollo coming back in, but he is just too late.
That one went the way of acceleration for sure. Not only do they get 1 kill over their enemy, 3-2 goes the way of acceleration, but they also pick up the Gold Fury. 4,100 gold in the way of the Red Sea, which is the team up on tower, so just cementing their lead even more. Famous Hate and Collateral pressing on to the first tier 2 tower of the game with the Raw heal. This could be the tower, and it will be.
Yeah, tower is going to go down, just famous and collateral, trading off aggro there. In the middle lane, Nuwa, still actually a good split pusher, not compared to old Nuwa, but compared to every other mage and some of the other characters in the game, because you still have on-demand minions, you build raw magic power with some penetration, and you get the increased attack speed on your auto attacks. I do want to mention something, though, for you guys at home. When you're going a double stack build, Thoth and Warlock Sash, go Warlock Sash first. Mystics has made a mistake here. You can see him sitting at 75 stacks of his Thoth and 42 stacks of his Warlocks, which doesn't make sense because Warlock Sash stacks are actually more magic power and more health than Thoth stacks. They are much more important, and you do want to go for that item first. Every time. Unless you're Kukulkan, but, like, that's it.
And that, of course, is because of the synergy of Kukulkan's passive. Dr. Hilo flipping Ecliptium really to no avail. Gets a good knockup, but Disney acceleration just a little too far out of reach to really aggress onto that one. Acceleration has been making fantastic plays mentally, and Vicious and Delicious has just been kind of too smart to be outsmarted. That last Gold Fury was the play that that Acceleration actually secured due to their fantastic play calling. 5 members onto this tower, a little more brutish than usual. Off the team, no more meteors allowed. Mystics taking a lot of damage, but Shining Metal's down, so Nuwa very vulnerable at the moment going into the air. The team fight concluding in the front line. Off the team very low while Heater ults the back. 4 members in red to 3 members in blue, but down comes Apollo. Dr. Evil kills the middle laner while Jelly takes out Ecliptium. That's a 1-for-1 with Famous Hate in the air, trying to get a kill onto Janin. Just barely not
nice
enough.
Aegis.
And a beautiful Aegis to stop the beam, but not enough to stop the assassinate. Wubba's also going to take out the jungle, so we're looking at a 3-for-1 trade at the moment. Acceleration definitely running this team fight, and Wubba surrounded by enemies, giving himself passive protections, but not enough to take it down. Famous Hate gets the kill. That is a 1-for-4 trade. Collateral makes it a deicide. Acceleration takes the kills, takes the Phoenix, looking for the win with Ecliptium up at 10 seconds. Scrat, this will be the Titan.
They do have minions that do apply backdoor protection, so the Titan, it might not actually fall. It's a little close, but just Athena coming off, and so yeah, she does know that this is going to be the game, and Vicious Delicious eliminated. Wow. Once again, they've been having trouble getting to the finals, getting to the semifinals even. Acceleration moving on. Once again, this is a Disney team. So under the same group as Disney Princesses, able to make it to the semifinals and hopefully avenge their fallen counterpart up against 5 angry men. Well played from Acceleration, well played from Vicious and Delicious, but it just came down to sort of execution of those team fights and also strategy. I mean, right there, when they went for the Phoenix, when they went for the Titan, when they went for the Tower, we saw, I think, the original idea behind Nuwa's minions. On-demand minions for team push. The split push was dumb. The backdooring was dumb. I think we can all agree. But having on-demand minions for your team to take a tower,
it's cool. I like it.
It's cool. It's probably OP, but it's cool and interesting.
I really like the play coming out from these two teams. Vicious and Delicious, the favorite going into this one, just barely. It's like, well, I don't know. Vicious and Delicious, probably a pretty significant favorite going into this one, Kret. And just a lot of experience on that team, a lot of just overall experience, not just Challenger Cup experience. And Acceleration, you know what won this game for them, Kret? Thought processes and high-level strategy. It wasn't mechanics. It was straight up the ability to outsmart their opponents in 1 or 2 choice engagements that really earned them the victory.
And what's so interesting is these weren't explosive team fights, right? It wasn't like, all right, we're going to go in, and we're going to use all our ultimates and everyone's going to die. And you see that a lot, let's be honest. Like, that's a lot of the strategy. Like, all right, Athena dashes in, gets the taunt, we follow with the Ram ult and the new ultimate, and that's a deicide, whatever. Like, that's the plan. But these fights for both these teams were very spread out. They were fractured. They were interesting. They were dynamic. Both teams played them well. But as you said, just a little bit better coming out from Team Acceleration.
Very true.
We're going to move on to our next match, guys. It's going to be the round of 4, the semifinals. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.